Hello, I am Xarkun, and this is World of Warships Legends. Today I've got a game that I've been trying to get for a long time, and that is a game in the Tier 7 Heavy Italian Cruiser Amalfi. This is exactly the kind of game I've wanted to feature for, as I said, quite some time, because at the end of it, it features an amazing thing that you can pull off sometimes with the Amalfi, and that is a YOLO, courtesy of this rolling smokescreen that the Italian cruisers have. But before we get into that, I do want to point out that this channel is nearly at 5,000 subscribers, and that is a hurdle I would like to overcome, that 5K goal, as soon as possible. So I need your help gaining a little bit of extra traction in the YouTube algorithm. And, I really hate it when YouTube content creators start out a video by telling you what they're going to be covering in said video, and then pause to say, hey, why don't you give this video a like before you've even seen what I'm going to do? And I just think that is, well, that's standard practice on YouTube, but it's a bit of a cheesy practice, right? So I don't like doing that. Instead, I found a way to get around that, and that is by selling out. That's right, we have advertisers today. Who's our first advertiser? Well, he comes all the way from Soviet Russia. You would think he would be dead by now, but no, he is not dead. You may know him as the best Russian battleship commander in the entire game. Mikhail Kedrov, that's right. Kedrov has started his own business, and he has sponsored us with his very first debut product, Mikhail Kedrov's Kibbles. That's right, Kedrov's Kibbles. Do you have a pet in your life who misbehaves? Cat? Dog? Are they always running around like maniacs, trying to get into stuff, tear up your furniture? Whatever the case may be, misbehaving cat or dog, simply feed them Kedrov's Kibbles. That's right, every kibble of Kedrov's comes loaded with 1,000 milligrams of a cocktail featuring the purest Russian 100 proof vodka, as well as several other substances that may or may not be legal within your country. So if you have a misbehaving pet and you don't have time to train them to stop misbehaving, simply get Kedrov's Kibbles. The first 100 people to like this video will receive a lifetime supply of Kedrov's Kibbles. Unfortunately, the business is just starting up and they have no reliable way to deliver it to you. Thus, they will be forced to rely on carrier pigeon, and there is no guarantee that that product will reach you via carrier pigeon. Nevertheless, hit that like button for your chance to get Kedrov's Kibbles today. In any case, okay. In any case, we're in the Amalfi, and we've come out here on the Charlie flank. Now, people say that the Italian cruiser line, as such, is a little bit underwhelming, and this is a sentiment I would tend to agree with. It is a little bit underwhelming, and that is because prior to the Trento, which is okay, and the Zara, which is okay, the entire line is pretty mediocre, especially at the lower tiers. Let's not make any bones about that. These guns have a ridiculously long reload that I don't think is justified by the punching power of their high explosive or their armor piercing. It's almost like the reload time on these guns was balanced around sap, which is a shell type that does not, of course, exist in this game. Nevertheless, I think the Amalfi is a hidden gem. As you can see, the armor piercing on this thing is quite good. We chunked that Bismarck pretty well. We've already gotten a Citadel on a cruiser. And the high explosive, I think, is pretty comparable to the Mogami's 152mm high explosive in terms of alpha strike and fire starting chance. It's actually quite solid, and you can certainly pump out a lot of damage with it. Nevertheless, you can do the same thing in many other heavy cruisers by way of the same method, that is, shooting armor piercing and high explosive at your targets. What you can't do in any other cruiser line in this game is use the rolling smokescreen or the exhaust smokescreen. Now you see we've already used one of them because there are no destroyers in this game, which of course means that spotting is going to be, how would you phrase it, rather spotty. There's nobody reliable on the team whose job it is to spot since there is no destroyer. And we did push out rather aggressively at the start, got spotted instantly, smoked up to avoid being thoroughly wrecked. Sort of like this Bismarck has been thoroughly wrecked. We got a fire burning on him, and with any luck, it should be lethal, sending him to the bottom of the sea as our first kill of the game, and there he goes. Excellent. All right, now that the Bismarck has been taken off this flank, we're going to sail past this island here, and we're going to see if we can get some shots on one of the two cruisers that is still on this flank, or potentially the battleship. We've got a Vladivostok pushing in. He is quite a tanky ship. Perhaps it's not the most advisable move to push in against two HE spamming cruisers, assuming that the other cruiser is in fact an HE spamming cruiser, and another battleship, but if any battleship can do that, it would be the Vladivostok with its incredible tankiness. There's Cleveland out there. We send a salvo of HE his way. And do we switch to the armor piercing? No. Perhaps he's not giving us a good enough angle. Still, a 4K hit on the Cleveland with HE, not something you could complain about. Of course, the Cleveland is turning out now, so now would be, in fact, the appropriate time to switch to the armor piercing, and in fact we have. I think that's something that I kind of need to get a little bit better about doing on the Amalfi, is switching the shell types at the appropriate time. Yes, the reload time is quite long, but this ship will reward you quite well for shooting armor-piercing or high-explosive at the opportune moments. Anyway, let's do a rundown of our goal here and take a look at the map. What we can see is that we've got the Vladivostok with us, and there appear to be two ships somewhere to our rear. I can't really tell. The screen that I look at on these... Oh, there's 3 ships to our rear, actually. There is a cruiser and not one but 2 other battleships occupying the same grid square, which of course is a highly effective position to put your battleship in. And if you believe that, then you need to get familiar with my sense of sarcasm. In any case, what we need to do is clear out this flank. We've got a mostly dead Cleveland on it. We've got some... Oh, we've got a Charles Martel, too. That's a surprise. Okay, so we've got a mostly dead Cleveland on it. We've got a Charles Martel at full health. And we've got a Sinop who has just begun to lose some of his hit points. We need our teammates to sort of push up and help us a little bit more. They seem reluctant to do so, but the good news is we are about to take this Charlie Cap, except I sailed out of it like a complete potato, delaying our taking of the cap, which is honestly not ideal. The enemy is far, far ahead of us right now on kills and points. They've sunk 3 of our ships, 1 battleship and 2 cruiser, whereas we have only sunk 1 battleship, and they've got 500-something points to our 300-something. Also, they hold securely 2 caps to our 1, which means they're going to gain points faster than we are. And here comes the Vladivostok pushing into the Sinop. I can't really tell how well this is going to go for him or what kind of hit points he's got left, but we're going to pause here before going behind the island. Good opportunities to look for in your cruiser, of course. No reason to not stand there and shoot the Sinop, but it appears that what happened there, the 2 of them rammed each other. So there goes one of our battleship supporters on this flank, and the 2 of them behind us, well, they have already demonstrated that they have no interest whatsoever in this flank. In fact, they are leaving it. You can see that the enemy team has pushed through the Alpha flank. There are no blue ships over there. It's just me, this cruiser over here in the Charlie Cap trying to take it, and the 2 battleships pushing out. So things are kind of looking dire. The enemy has much better map control than we do. They do have a cruiser out here on this Bravo flank, at least 1. I believe it's the Charles Martel, and there's no telling exactly which way all of the ships on the other side of the map are going. But luckily, my team has me playing the Amalfi, and I don't mean to sound arrogant, of course, when I say that, but you'll see that I am, in fact, quite instrumental to the outcome of this game, as well as this cruiser next to me, who, by the way, is an Algerie. Now, there is a juicy target, the Surrey. sort of peeking around the island over there in Alpha, giving a good amount of broadside. But also the Charles Martel is closing in. So since the Surrey has momentarily taken himself away from the danger that he did not know was present, that is our guns, well, we shot at the Charles Martel, got nothing out of it, but look at that, the Surrey is reversing out again, and of course we've switched to the high explosive, totally eliminating any chance to eliminate the Surrey with our AP, but of course one of our teammates does that for us by dev striking him. And unfortunately, the Surrey gets the It's Just a Flesh Wound medal with a torpedo on the friendly Colorado. So now it's 3 ships versus 4, and it is still in the enemy team's favor. Only 1 battleship left to us. Meanwhile, we are facing 2. And that is not great, but the Charles Martel here is about to make a big mistake. If you see a cruiser and immediately start turning broadside in front of it, especially if that cruiser is the Amalfi, expect to get smacked. The Amalfi's AP is, in a word, excellent at punishing broadside cruisers, and it takes us a mere 2 salvos to take away all of the hit points of that Charles Martel. He was basically at full health at the start of that engagement, and now that he has been eliminated, hopefully what we can do is push toward the Bravo cap. As you can see, with that kill on the Charles Martel, we have, well, I was going to say we have made it even in terms of ships. Oh, wait. Okay, I guess we did, because the friendly North Carolina went down, followed quickly by an enemy ship whose name I did not catch. So it's 2 versus 2. The only problem is it's 2 cruisers versus 2 battleships. So the best way for us to win this game is, of course, to get the cap majority. There are still 3 minutes left to go in the game, and in situations like this, domination mode games, it is exceedingly important that you play to your ship's strengths when trying to win. And by that I mean cruisers generally can't go toe-to-toe with battleships. They just don't have the armor for it. They will be taken out, maybe not in the first salvo from the battleship, maybe not in the second, but eventually. Most cruisers simply can't tank. Therefore, the proper move is to take the capture circle and get points that way. The enemy team isn't too far ahead of us on points, and the Algerie is inside of the Bravo cap, so he looks like he's poised to flip it. However, having just said that the proper strategy here is to take the capture circle, you'll notice I am not going for the capture circle. Why am I not going for the capture circle? Well, because the Nelson is inside of the Delta cap and he is flipping it. And what we need to do is reset him so that he can't take it. As long as we continue to reset him and he doesn't take it, by the time the Algerie flips the cap that he is in, which is, I think, the Bravo cap, then we will have 2 caps, and the enemy will only be accruing points from 1. So as long as we can maintain that sort of setup where we have 2 caps and the enemy only gets points from 1 cap, we're eventually going to overtake them on points. Nevertheless, this kind of thing is not going to be sustainable. We are not going to be able to reset the Nelson permanently, especially since he's coming around the island now and since we are so close to him. So, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to engage in what the Amalfi can do, and it is really the only cruiser at Tier 7 that can do this kind of YOLO. So we already sent torps at the Nelson preemptively. All of them missed after they spread out, and the Nelson was able to dodge them, but we've got the torpedoes ready to go on the other side. We used the smoke screen for a temporary reprieve, already having taken a shot from the Nelson. His second shot hurts us quite badly, but we get 3 torpedoes on him, take him down to almost no health. All of his guns are in the front, and he's going to find it difficult to turn them around to shoot us again, especially since he has now been sunk. So we pull off the coveted Amalfi Yolo with 1 minute left to go in the game, and we now hold 3 capture circles and are ahead of the enemy team on points. Something I wish the Algerie had taken better note of. Perhaps he is in a position where he can't disengage from this North Carolina, but I can tell you he is in a prime position to throw away our points lead right now by being sunk by that North Carolina, and there is no way I can sink the North Carolina in less than 30 seconds. So we just kind of have to cross our fingers now and hope that this salvo does not kill the Algerie. And it looks like the North Carolina completely whiffed it. So with a stroke of luck, honestly, we end up not losing the Algerie, and we win this game. Although maybe if we had lost him, we still might have won. I'm not sure with the points count. It certainly would have been close. In any case, I think our YOLO there against the Nelson was pretty instrumental in the outcome of this game. And again, this is not something you should probably try to do often in the Mogami. Or not the Mogami, the Amalfi. It's probably not something you can do reliably. But this YOLO type thing is something you can do sometimes. And in this case, it worked. So I hope you found it entertaining. If so, give the video a thumbs up, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.